cemetery records and Bible records, and there's a story on her in Bible records. Carroll County.
Now, how do you go through the cemetery? Well, let's say we were interested in the Mastersons.
All right.
Now, how would you go retrieving information?
Looking at M's. This Mary just waiting. I'll get you. I indexed it. A bit. No, where's my cemetery? Cemetery. M to Z. Where's my index?
The cemeteries.
Okay. You want Masterson?
Yeah, let's see who's at the Mastersons.
Okay.
Wesley P. Masterson, no marker. That's Mary C.
Page 108.
Okay, now Mary C. I don't know
That's
if
Mary
that.
Kathryn.
Right, Mary Kathryn.
She's only one. She's
Just a kid.
Sarah Richard Masterson, 108, 111.
So having used your index, you now know what to do on the next step.
Yeah. There it is. All my notes and everything. The typed up ones are what I did first, and then I made
All these annotations.
Notations about it. There it is.
Look at this, Gene, just to give you an idea
Sit
of the
down.
details.
Sit down.
See if you can get it so it's readable.
Yeah. See, this one was donated by Mr. Atkinson,
Okay.
and I took it and had it framed, and I put the information of it right back here. Supposed to hang it up there, but I was going to take it and take it apart
Yeah.
and get me have a good picture made off of it.
Steve.
This is Mary Masterson's
And we
mother.
went to the library, and there wasn't anything there, but someone suggested that we call up the IOOF cemetery and see if there's a record of date of interment at least. Have you had any experience with the cemetery? Do they have decent records?
Yes, they got good records.
Okay, so chance of me being able to find his mother was buried, pretty reasonable? Mary doesn't know herself when she died, or exactly when she was buried. I was trying to figure out, did they actually give her a write-up in the newspaper, or I wondered if she was...
She died in 1960, and that's all I can tell you.
Right, so that sounds like, would you have
This-
probably tried with the cemetery records to get a more exact date on that, like month and date?
Month and date. Well, yes.
Okay, so I
But
can...
that's what's on the stone.
Right, I know that, Okay. But they keep good records there, pretty good.
Well, they used to.
Okay.
And this is a long time ago.
So 1960,
They probably do.
they may do, it's not so old, right?
No.
Yeah.
No, that's not too long.
And the
But
newspaper didn't have anything at all. They were saying that they'll check, but it would help to have a more exact date of death. Then they could see whether or not they gave her a little notice or something like that. Or,
yeah, 1960. You gotta know the month.
yeah, at least the month. And Mary didn't know. She thought that she said the latter part of 1960. She said in 1959 her mother wrote her a letter saying she wasn't well. Mary was in England, and she said, "You come on home." She came home, and she said, "Mother didn't die till a year later."
She was supposed to go on the first cruise on the...
I was trying to figure out
I
what
don't
that
know.
was. But you need really good eyes to read that stuff. But I like your family record up there. That's nice.
Yeah, that's all.
So that's been around for a while.
That picture right there with the birds, it's old. Right there.
And that was your mother's
My grandmother.
grandmothers?
She was born in 1850. She died when she was 80. One time. One was called a Democrat, and one of them was called Carrollton News. And so this man that made the scrapbook, he didn't designate which one it was.
So someone other than you made that scrapbook?
Oh, yes.
Who was the guy who made that? Do you recall?
Well, no.
So you actually inherited it or bought it or found it?
I
or?
borrowed it from a lady, the original book from a lady that doesn't want it, loaned it out. So in order to people to see it, I took it up and had it Xerox page per page.
The entire
scrapbook.
Okay.
My goodness.
And what's the scrapbook called? Is there a name to it?
No.
Did she make a title page for it?
No, it's just a scrapbook.
Okay.
The man that made it evidently had a drugstore, because you can see things that, but like he had made a scrapbook on some book of advertising, you know.
But that started in 1872, the scrapbook, apparently. I don't know when that newspaper began, do you?
1868.
Oh, so it's a post-Civil War, 1868, and that thing starts.
That was the first scrapbook.
Was it a fairly regular publication? Was it a weekly? Every week?
Now, this was not the News Democrat.
No. You see, eventually the two papers merged. The Carrollton News and the Democrat made News Democrat.
Did they put a hyphen in between? Do you know?
No.
No hyphen.
But then that's where this stuff came.
Yeah. And it looks like a really nice quality Xeroxing that you did. How long ago did you do the Xeroxing?
Long time ago. I went up northern Kentucky and did it when I could do it for a nickel a page.
Yeah. Well, it's certainly all legible.
And I've added an awful lot of things to it.
And now who's done the underlining in it?
Me.
You did the underlining. So that's...
I just ruin everything by doing that.
No, you didn't, because what you're doing is you're highlighting
Now
it.
let's see that book, that stuff that I got, that I gave Malcolm. Tell me, I can tell you the pages here.
Okay, beautiful. Well, I've got them at Malcolm's, the pages that you gave, but I didn't know.
Did you have something in that envelope while ago?
In here? No, not that I know. In this file?
No.
No, the envelope, I didn't bring, as it luck would have it, I didn't bring that page.
So I can tell you what this is.
Well, I can remember which is which. I can write it down.
You know what page?
Well, I don't.
Well, see, I need the page.
Well, okay, well, we can telephone you. Maybe you can tell me indirectly, okay? Or when we bring you back, after we go to Malcolm's.
Some of those things, you know, I copied it by hand
Okay,
and gave it to Malcolm.
right,
And it's just copied word for word. It's just little things
right.
out
But
of
I have a Xerox of that page too, that you must have given
one of
him.
them. One
Right.
of them.
No, 2 pages, or
Was it
2
2?
independent pages are
Did he?
Xerox. Yeah,
Well, there's more than one.
right.
There's more than one page.
I made a copy of the page before that because it said Masterson on it.
Right, there are 2 pages, and the thing is that when we go back and we'll do some scanning for Mary, plus that, not Mary, for Kathryn. Kathryn, where did you get this picture that we're talking about here? Where did this originate?
Turn it on the back. Look on the back.
Ruth Atkinson, framed by Kathryn Salyers. Excellent.
Hold it up, Abe. Let me see it.
Well, this is a picture that, very interesting picture. Who helped with the identification? Everybody, including
Miss Ruth.
Miss Ruth. Is of interest to you specifically for what reason?
Just because it was an old house.
It was an old house. Well, it's a pretty old house.
That was the Bill House. What was the name?
It's called the Myrick, Myrick, M-I-R-I-C-K hyphen Bell House, built around 1840, corner of 2nd and Main. Girl in plaid dress is Katie Bell Smith. Oh yeah, she's on the second floor.
This is page 67 is after William W. Masterson is a good position in the foreign service.
Okay, let's see, I'll jot that down. Let me see.
Now that's one of my copies.
Okay, now, let's see.
1895.
Okay, now, this is good position in Florence at page.
Now you got a copy of that.
Yes,
but
indeed.
I gave it to you.
Absolutely,
I
page
gave it to Malcolm.
67. Thank you. And this one here is the one that's called A Letter from Arabia. There, from Arabia. So that's 68.
All of this is W.W. Masterson.
Right. So whoever did this must have just gone through the papers, clipped out things, kept clippings on a regular thing.
Everything.
But this page number refers to your main, and you're calling this your scrapbook. Do you add to this now yourself?
Yeah, and I had it back there.
Okay.
Back into it is mine.
Mm-hmm. Coca-Cola plant to cease operations, Jane.
I wonder what year that was.
67.
It's
67?
yeah, October 26, 1967.
But it was these books, like this book, that we sent off to up into Indiana.
Uh-huh.
Court order book number 1, 1799 to 1804, and Dr. Bogartis, he passed away several years ago, but we sent it up into Indiana somewhere, and I have no idea where he sent it, and had them hard bound.
And you've got all these books over here to our right, don't you, Kathryn?
All of those books.
All of these.
All of those books down there.
Just a wealth of information.
Yes. All these books right there. There's Carrollton County, and they're court order books, which includes Port William. You have to go up there to get the information, early information.
Mm-hmm.
Here's where they're building, exonerated from building a jail. And they tell you how, and somebody will read the first page, and they'll say, now that's where the first jail, well, you go on to the second or third page, or maybe farther, and they change their mind. They put it somewhere else.
This morning I called Kathryn Salyers, who has just done an incredible amount of genealogy work all by hand, and told her about a Pullum cemetery out on, what road is that?
36.
Out on Route 36. And we came by to see her, and we're going to drive out there. And when we arrived, she had a whole record on the Pullum Cemetery, Highway 36, Milton Road, and she'd written it out for us, which is just wonderful.
Yes.
You have so much respect in this town. Everyone just thinks you're wonderful. I'll tell you.
Really?
Everybody we talk
And
to.
then there was 4 or 5 or 6 maybe stones, field stones they call them.
Okay.
No names or anything. The other graves out marked.
Have you been up there?
Yeah,
You've been up there. You walked all the way up?
I've been there.
Isn't that amazing?
Back in the 60s, somewhere.
Well, we certainly
It's been
thank you
such
for
a long
this.
time, I remember.
There's a house down on Route 36 in Kentucky, just not very far from Prestonsville and Carrollton, across from Okie Thompson's former bar. And this was probably built by Isaac Newton Pullum, who was a great-grandfather of my dad's mother. And going back through this hollow, way up there, is his tombstone. It's evidently a very tall tombstone.